live, so I'm trying. We'll see if it works. I don't know how this happens. Doodle-doo, doodle-doo. All right. We'll see if it works. I don't know how this. Oh, wow. Okay. Happens. So it's streaming now, but I don't know how to. I'm gonna close it. I don't want to hear myself. We'll see if it. Oh. Anyway.
Sorry, I accidentally disconnected.
What'd you say?
I accidentally disconnected.
Uh,
Yeah.
I got it figured out now. We're streaming to YouTube and we're sharing our screen. Ta-da. All right. So before we begin, I'll do some invocation prayers and mantras for the pleasure of our previous acharyas, so that I can hopefully speak nicely on their behalf. Om Jnanatamrandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Keshava Bharati Das Goswamini Namane. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namane. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Wow, here we go. We're reading from Signs of Self-Realization, the Incarnation of Love of God. Okay. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself, and he is teaching how to develop love of God by a very simple method. People are embarrassed by so many methods of realization. They cannot take to the actual ritualistic process of meditation or yoga. It is not possible. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya says that if one takes up this process of chanting, then immediately he can reach the platform of realization. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Golden Avatar, appeared in India nearly 500 years ago. Actually, now it's 539 years ago, I believe. Somewhere around there. It is the custom in India that when a child is born, an astrologer is called for. When Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, appeared 5,000 years ago, Garga Muni was called by his father and he said, "This child formerly incarnated in 3 complexions, such as red and golden, and now he has appeared in blackish color." Krishna's color is described in the scriptures as blackish, just like the color of a cloud. Lord Chaitanya is understood to be Krishna appearing in golden complexion. There is much evidence in Vedic literature that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is an incarnation of Krishna, and this is confirmed by scholars and devotees. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is confirmed that the incarnation of Krishna, or God, in this present age, or Kali Yuga, is always engaged in describing Krishna. He is Krishna, but as a devotee of Krishna, he describes himself. And in this age, his bodily complexion will not be blackish. This means that it may be white, it may be red, or it may be yellow, because these 4 colors, white, red, yellow, and black, are the colors assumed by the incarnations for the different ages. Therefore, since the red, white, and blackish colors were already taken by former incarnations, the remaining color, golden, is assumed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. His complexion is not blackish, but he is Krishna. Another feature of this avatar is that he's always accompanied by his associates. In the picture of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, one will find that he is always followed by many devotees chanting. Whenever God incarnates, he has 2 missions, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita. There, Krishna says, "Whenever I appear, my mission is to deliver the pious devotees and to annihilate the demons." When Krishna appeared, he had to kill many demons. If we see a picture of Vishnu, we will notice that he has a conch shell, lotus, flower, club, and disc. These last two items are meant for killing demons. Club and the disc. Within this world, there are two classes of men, the demons and the devotees. The devotees are called demigods. They are almost like God because they have godly qualities. Those who are devotees are called godly persons, and those who are non-devotees or atheists are called demons. So Krishna, or God, comes with two missions: to give protection to the devotees and to destroy the demons. In this age, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission is also like that: to deliver the devotees and to annihilate the non-devotees, the demons. But in this age, he has a different weapon. That weapon is not a club or disc or lethal weapon. His weapon is the Sankirtan movement. He killed the demonic mentality of the people by introducing the Sankirtan movement. That is the specific significance of Lord Chaitanya. In this age, people are already killing themselves. They have discovered atomic weapons with which to kill themselves, so there's no need for God to kill them. But he appeared to kill their demonic mentality. That is possible by this Krishna consciousness movement. Therefore, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said that this is the incarnation of God in this age. And who worships him? The process is very simple. Just keep a picture of Lord Chaitanya with his associates. Lord Chaitanya is in the middle, accompanied by his principal associates Nityananda, Advaita, Gadadhar, and Srivas. One simply has to keep this picture. One can keep it anywhere. It is not that one has to come to us to see this picture. Anyone can have this picture in his home, chant this Hare Krishna mantra, and thus worship Lord Chaitanya. That is the simple method. But who will capture this simple method? Those who have good brains. Without much bother, if one simply keeps a picture of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at home and chants Hare Krishna, then one will realize God. Anyone can adopt this simple method. There is no expenditure, there's no tax, nor is there any need to build a very big church or temple. Anyone, anywhere can sit down on the road or a bench, I don't know where beneath. Anyone, anywhere can sit down on the road or beneath a tree and chant the Hare Krishna mantra and worship God. You can also sit on a bench if you want. Therefore, it is a great opportunity. For example, in business or political life, one sometimes finds a great opportunity. Those who are intelligent politicians take a good opportunity and make a success of it the first time it comes. Similarly, in this age, those who have sufficient intelligence take to this Sankirtan movement and they advance very quickly. Lord Chaitanya is called the Golden Avatar. Avatara means descending or coming down. Just as one may come down from the 5th story or the 100th story of a building, an avatar comes down from the spiritual planets in the spiritual sky. The sky we see with our naked eyes or with a telescope is only the material sky. But beyond this, there is another sky, which is not possible to see with our eyes or instruments. That information is in the Bhagavad Gita. It is not imagination. Krishna says that beyond the material sky is another sky, the spiritual sky. We have to take Krishna's word as it is. For example, we teach small children that beyond England, there are other places called Germany, India, and so on. And the child has to learn about these places from the version of the teacher, because they are beyond his sphere. Similarly, beyond this material sky is another sky. One cannot experiment to find it, any more than a small child can experiment to find Germany or India. That is not possible. If we want to get knowledge, then we have to accept authority. Similarly, if we want to know what is beyond the material world, then we have to accept the Vedic authority. Otherwise, there's no possibility of knowing. It is beyond material knowledge. One cannot go to the far planets in this universe. What to speak of going beyond this universe? The estimation is that in order to go to the highest planet of this universe with modern machinery, one would have to travel for 40,000 years. So we cannot even travel within this material sky. Our lifetime and means are so limited that we cannot have proper knowledge of even this material world. In the Bhagavad Gita, when Arjuna asked Krishna, "Will you kindly explain the extent to which your energies are working?" The Supreme Lord gave him so many instances, and at the end he finally said, "My dear Arjuna, what shall I explain about my energies? It is not actually possible for you to understand, but you can just imagine the expansion of my energies. This material world, which consists of millions of universes, is simply a display of 1/4 of my creation. We cannot estimate the position of even one universe, and there are millions of universes. Then beyond that is the spiritual sky, and there are millions of spiritual planets. All this information is available from the Vedic literature. If one accepts Vedic literature, then he can get this knowledge. If one doesn't accept it, there's no other means. That is our choice. Therefore, according to Vedic civilization, whenever an acharya speaks, he immediately gives references from the Vedic literature. Then others will accept it. Yes, it is correct. In a law court, the lawyer gives references from past judgments of the court, and if his case is tight, the judge accepts. Similarly, if one can give evidence from the Vedas, then it is understood that his position is factual. The avatar for this age, Lord Chaitanya, is described in Vedic literature. We cannot accept anyone as an avatar unless he has the symptoms described in the scriptures. We do not whimsically accept Lord Chaitanya as an avatar on the basis of votes. Nowadays, it has become a fashion that any man can come and say that he is God, or an incarnation of God, and some fools and rascals will accept it. Quote, "Oh, he is God," end quote. We do not accept an avatar like that. We take evidence from the Vedas. An avatar must conform to descriptions in the Vedas. Then we accept him. Otherwise, no. For each avatar, there is a description in the Vedas. He will appear at such and such a place, in such a form, and he will act like this. That is the nature of Vedic evidence. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a list of the avatars, and there is mention of Lord Buddha's name. This Srimad Bhagavatam was written 5,000 years ago, and it mentions different names for future times. It says that in the future the Lord would appear as Lord Buddha. His mother's name would be Anjana, and he would appear in Gaya. So Buddha appeared 2,600 years ago, and the Srimad Bhagavatam, which was written 5,000 years ago, mentioned that in the future he would appear. Similarly, there is mention of Lord Chaitanya, and similarly, the last avatar of this Kali Yuga is also mentioned in the Bhagavatam. It is mentioned that the last incarnation in this age is Kalki. He will appear as the son of a Brahmana, whose name is Vishnu Yasha, in a place called Shambhala. There is a place in India with that name, so perhaps it is there that the Lord will appear. Interesting. An avatar must conform to the descriptions in the Upanishads, Srimad Bhagavatam, Mahabharata, and other Vedic literatures. And on the authority of Vedic literature and the commentary of great stalwart Goswamis like Jiva Goswami, who was the greatest scholar and philosopher in the world, we can accept Lord Chaitanya as an incarnation of Krishna. Why did Lord Chaitanya appear? In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, "Give up all other engagements and simply engage in my service. I will give you protection from all results of sinful actions." In this material world, in conditional life, we are simply creating sinful reactions. That's all. And because of sinful reactions, we have received this body. If our sinful reactions stopped, we would not have to take a material body. We should get a spiritual body. Well, that's simple enough. What is a spiritual body? A spiritual body is a body which is free from death, birth, disease, and old age. It is an eternal body full of knowledge and bliss. Different bodies are created by different desires. As long as we have desires for different kinds of enjoyment, we have to accept different kinds of material bodies. Krishna, God, is so kind that he awards whatever we want. If we want a tiger's body with tiger-like strength and teeth with which to capture animals and suck fresh blood, then Krishna will give us the opportunity. And if we want the body of a saintly person, a devotee engaged only in the service of the Lord, then he will give us that body. This is stated in the Bhagavad Gita. If a person engaged in yoga, the process of self-realization, somehow or other fails to complete the process, he is given another chance. He's given birth in a family of a pure Brahmana or a rich man. If one is fortunate enough to take birth in such a family, he gets all facilities to understand the importance of self-realization. From the very beginning of life, our Krishna-conscious children are getting the opportunity to learn how to chant and dance. So when they are grown up, they will not change, but instead will automatically make progress. They are very fortunate. Regardless of whether he is born in America or Europe, a child will advance if his father and mother are devotees. He gets this opportunity. If a child takes birth in a family of devotees, this means that in his last life he had already taken to the yoga process, but somehow or other he could not finish it. Therefore, the child is given another opportunity to make progress under the care of a good father and mother, so that he will again advance. In this way, as soon as one completes his development of God consciousness, then he no longer has to take birth in this material world, but returns to the spiritual world. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, "My dear Arjuna, if one understands my appearance, disappearance, and activities, simply because of this understanding, he is given the opportunity to take birth in the spiritual world after giving up this body." One has to give up this body today, tomorrow, or maybe the day after that. One has to. But a person who has understood Krishna will not have to take another material body. Hey, how's it going, Ike? Hare Krishna.
What's going good?
All right, so we're reading a section called
Hello, what's going good? Thank you.
Good, good. Nice to hear. We're hearing a section called The Incarnation of Love of God. And we're probably around halfway through, maybe closer. So he goes directly to the spiritual world and takes birth in one of the spiritual planets. So Krishna says that as soon as one gets this body, it doesn't matter if it is from India, or the moon, or the sun, or Brahmaloka, or anywhere within this material world. One should know that it is due to his sinful activities. There are degrees of sinful activities. So according to the degree of sinfulness, one takes a material body. Therefore, our real problem is not how to eat, sleep, mate, and defend. Our real problem is how to get a body that is not material, but spiritual. That is the ultimate solution to all problems. So Krishna guarantees that if one surrenders unto him, if one becomes fully Krishna conscious, then he will give one protection from all reactions to sinful life. This assurance was given by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, but there were many fools who could not understand Krishna. In the Bhagavad Gita, they are described as mudhas. Mudha means rascal. And Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, they do not know what I actually am. So many people misunderstood Krishna. Although Krishna gave us this message of the Bhagavad Gita so that we could understand him, many people missed the opportunity. Therefore, Krishna, out of his compassion, came again as a devotee and showed us how to surrender unto him, and showed us how to surrender unto Krishna. Krishna himself came to teach us how to surrender. His last instruction in the Bhagavad Gita is to surrender, but people, or mudhas, rascals, said, "Why should I surrender?" Therefore, although Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself, this time he teaches us practically how to execute the mission of the Bhagavad Gita. That's all. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is teaching nothing extraordinary, nothing beyond the process of surrendering to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which was already taught in the Bhagavad Gita. There's no other teaching, but the same teaching is presented in different ways so that different kinds of people may take it and take the opportunity to approach God. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives us the opportunity to reach God directly. When Rupa Goswami, the principal disciple of Lord Chaitanya, saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was a minister in the government of Bengal, but wanted to join Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement. So, he gave up his position as a minister, and after joining, when he surrendered, he offered a nice prayer to Lord Chaitanya. This prayer says, Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gaur Tvishe Namaha. My dear Lord, you are the most munificent of all the incarnations. Why? Krishna Prema Pradayate. You are directly giving love of God. You have no other purpose. Your process is so nice that so nice that one can immediately learn to love God. Therefore, you are the most munificent of all incarnations, and it is not possible for any personality other than Krishna himself to deliver this benediction. Therefore, I say that you are Krishna. Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine. You are Krishna, but you have assumed the name Krishna Chaitanya. I surrender unto you. So this is the process. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself, and he is teaching how to develop love of God by a very simple method. He says simply to chant Hare Krishna. Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama Eva Kevalam. Kalo Nastyeva, Nastyeva, Nastyeva Gatir Anyata. Do a little country song with that one. In this age, simply go on chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. There's no other alternative. People are embarrassed by so many methods of realization. They cannot take to the actual ritualistic processes of meditation or yoga. It is not possible. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya says that if one takes up this process of chanting, then immediately he can reach the platform of realization. The chanting process offered by Lord Chaitanya for achieving love of God is called Sankirtana. Sankirtana is a Sanskrit word. Sam means, or comes from samyak, complete, and kirtana means glorifying or describing. So complete description means complete glorification of the Supreme Lord, or of the Supreme complete whole. It is not that one can describe anything or glorify anything, and that will be kirtan. From the grammatical point of view, that may be kirtan, but according to the Vedic system, kirtan means describing the supreme authority, the absolute truth, the supreme personality of Godhead. That is called kirtan. This devotional service begins with the method of Shravana. Shravana means hearing, and kirtan means describing. One should describe, and another should hear. Or the same man himself can both describe and hear. He does not need anyone else's help. When we chant Hare Krishna, we chant and hear. This is complete. So you can also read out loud to yourself. So when you guys aren't here, I get to do that. So we don't need nobody else. He does not need anyone else's help. When we chant Hare Krishna, we chant and hear. This is complete. This is a complete method. But what is that chanting and hearing? One must chant and hear about Vishnu, Krishna, not anything else. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu. One can understand Vishnu, the all-pervading absolute truth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by the method of hearing. We have to hear. If one simply hears, that is the beginning. One does not need any education or development of material knowledge. Just like a child, as soon as he hears, immediately he can respond and dance. So by nature, God has given us these nice instruments, ears, so that we can hear. But we must hear from the right source. That is stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam. One must hear from those who are devoted to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They are called Satam. If one hears from the right source, from a realized soul, then it will act. And these words of God, or Krishna, are very relishable. If one is intelligent enough, he will listen to what is spoken by the realized soul. Then very soon he will be released from material entanglements. This human life is meant for advancing on the path of liberation. That is called apavarga, freedom from entanglement. We are all entangled. Our acceptance of this material body means that we are already entangled, but we should not progress in the process of entanglement. That process is called karma. As long as the mind is absorbed in karma, we will have to accept a material body. At the time of death, our mind may be thinking, "Oh, I cannot complete this work. Oh, I'm dying. I have to do this. I have to do that." This means that Krishna will give us another chance to do it. And so we will have to accept another body. He will give us the chance. All right, you could not do it. Now do it. Take this body. Therefore, the Srimad Bhagavatam says, these rascals have become madly intoxicated. Because of intoxication, they are doing something they should not have done. What are they doing? Maharaj Dhritarashtra is a very good example. Maharaj Dhritarashtra was cunningly planning to kill the Pandavas in order to favor his own sons. So, Krishna sent his uncle Akrura to advise him not to do that. Dhritarashtra understood Akrura's instructions, but he said, "My dear Akrura, what you are saying is quite right, but it does not stand in my heart, so I cannot change my policy. I have to follow this policy and let whatever happens take place." So, when men want to satisfy their senses, they become mad, and in this madness, they'll do anything and everything. For example, there have been many instances in material life where someone has become mad after something and has committed a criminal act, such as murder. The person could not check himself. Similarly, we are accustomed to sense gratification. We are mad, and therefore our minds are fully absorbed in karma. This is very unfortunate. Because our body, although temporary, is the reservoir of all misfortunes and miseries, it is always giving us trouble. These matters are to be studied. If you really want to study it, I believe there's a book, that has every known disease that can take place in the human body, and there's one or more for every single letter of the alphabet. And it's probably a pretty thick book if you want to study how this body is a reservoir of all misfortunes and miseries. Hare Krishna. We should not be mad. Human life is not meant for that. The defect of the present civilization is that people are mad after sense gratification. That is all. They do not know the real value of life, and therefore they are neglecting the most valuable form of life, this human form. When this body is finished, there is no guarantee what kind of body one will take next. Suppose in my next life I get by chance get the body of a tree. For thousands of years I will have to stand up, but people are not very serious. They even say, "What is that? Even if I have to stand up, I shall forget." I get that on book distribution. The lower species of life are situated in forgetfulness. If a tree were not forgetful, it would be impossible for it to live. Suppose we were told, "You stand up for 3 days here." Because we are not forgetful, we would become mad. So by nature's law, all these lower species of life are forgetful. Their consciousness is not developed. A tree has life, but even if someone cuts it, because its consciousness is not developed, it does not respond. So we should be very careful to utilize this human form of life properly. The Krishna consciousness movement is meant for achieving perfection in life. It is not a bluff or exploitation, but unfortunately people are accustomed to being bluffed. There is a verse by an Indian poet. If one speaks nice things, people will quarrel with him. Oh, what nonsense you are speaking. But if he bluffs them and cheats them, they will be very glad. So if a bluffer says, "Just do this, give me my fee, and within 6 months you will become God," then they will agree, "Yes, take this fee, and I shall become God within 6 months." No, these cheating processes will not solve our problem. If one actually wants to solve the problems of life in this age, then he has to take to this process of kirtan. That is the recommended process. Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama eva kevalam kalo nasti eva gatir anyata. In this age of Kali Yuga, one cannot execute any process of self-realization or perfection of life other than kirtan. Kirtan is essential in this age. In all Vedic literatures, it is confirmed that one must meditate on the Supreme Absolute Truth, Vishnu, not on anything else. But there are different processes of meditation recommended for different ages. The process of mystic yogic meditation was possible in Satya Yuga, when men lived for many thousands of years. Now, people will not believe this, but in a previous age there were people who lived for 100,000 years. That age was called Satya Yuga, and the meditation of mystic yoga was possible at that time. In that age, the great yogi Valmiki Muni meditated for 60,000 years. So that is a long-term process, which is not possible to execute in this age. If one wishes to conduct a farce, that is another matter. But if one actually wants to practice such meditation, it takes an extremely long time to perfect. In that age, Treta Yuga, the process of realization was to perform the various ritualistic sacrifices recommended in the Vedas. In the next age, Dwapara Yuga, the process was temple worship. In this present age, the same result can be achieved by the process of Hari Kirtan, glorification of Hari, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. No other kirtan is recommended. This Hari Kirtan was started 500 years ago in Bengal by Lord Chaitanya. In Bengal, there is competition between the Vaishnavas and the Shaktas. The Shaktas have introduced a certain type of kirtan called Kali Kirtan. But in the Vedic scriptures, there is no recommendation of Kali Kirtan. Kirtan means Hari Kirtan. One cannot say, oh, you are Vaishnava, you can do Hari Kirtan, I shall perform Shiva Kirtan, or Devi Kirtan, or Ganesha Kirtan. No, the Vedic scriptures do not authorize any kirtan other than Hari Kirtan. Kirtan means Hari Kirtan, the glorification of Krishna. So this process of Hari Kirtan is very simple. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Actually, there are only 3 words, Hare, Krishna, and Rama. But they are very nicely arranged for chanting so that everyone can take the mantra and chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Since we have started this movement in the Western countries, Europeans, Americans, Africans, Egyptians, and Japanese are all chanting. There's no difficulty. They are chanting very gladly, and they are getting the results. What is the difficulty? We are distributing this chanting free of charge, and it is very simple. Simply by chanting, one can have self-realization, God realization, and when there is God realization, then nature realization is also included. For example, if one learns 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 0, then he has studied the entirety of mathematics. Because mathematics means simply changing the places of these 10 figures. That's all. Similarly, if one simply studies Krishna, then all his knowledge is perfect. And Krishna is easily understood simply by chanting this mantra, Hare Krishna. So why not take this opportunity? Take this opportunity that is being offered to human society. It is very ancient and scientific. It is not that it is a concoction that will last for only 3 or 4 years. No. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna himself said this philosophy is inexhaustible and indestructible. It is never lost or destroyed. It may be covered for the time being, but it is never destroyed. Therefore, it is called avyayam. Vyaya means exhaustion. For example, one may have $100, and if they are spent one after another, the next day it will come to 0. That is vyaya, exhaustible. But Krishna consciousness is not like that. If you cultivate this knowledge of Krishna consciousness, then it will increase. that is certified by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Anandam Buddhivardhanam Patipadam Purnam Rita Swaranam. Ananda means pleasure, transcendental bliss, and Ambudhi means ocean. In the material world, we see that the ocean does not increase. But if one cultivates Krishna consciousness, then his transcendental bliss will simply increase. Well, nowadays, I think our ocean seems to be increasing a little bit. But because of our excessive indulgence. Okay. Anandam Buddhivardhanam. And I shall always remind everyone that the process is very simple. Anyone can chant anywhere without taxation or loss, but the gain is very great. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has explained this kirtan movement in his Shikshashtaka. Shiksha means instruction, and Ashtaka means 8. He has given us 8 verses to help us understand this Krishna consciousness movement, and I shall explain the first of these instructions. The Lord says, Cheto Darpanam Arjanam. One should cleanse the heart. I have explained this several times, but it does not become monotonous. It is just like the chanting of Hare Krishna. It does not become tiresome. Our students can chant the Hare Krishna mantra 24 hours a day, and they will never get tired. They will continue to dance and chant, and anyone can try it, because it is not material. One will never get tired of chanting Hare Krishna. In the material world, if one chants anything, any favorite name for 3, 4, or 10 times, he will get tired of it. That is a fact. But because Hare Krishna is not material, if one chants this mantra, he will never get tired. The more one chants, the more his heart will be cleansed of material dirt, and the more the problems of his life within this material world will be solved. What is the problem of our lives? That we do not know. Modern education never gives enlightenment about the real problem of life. That is indicated in the Bhagavad Gita. Those who are educated and are advancing in knowledge should know what is the problem of life. This problem is stated in the Bhagavad Gita. One should always see the inconveniences of birth, death, old age, and disease. Unfortunately, no one pays attention to these problems. When a man is diseased, he thinks, all right, let me go to the doctor. He'll give some medicine. He'll give me some medicine and I'll be cured. But he does not consider the problem very seriously. I did not want this disease. Why is there disease? It is not possible to become free from disease. Or is it not possible to become free from disease? He never thinks that way. This is because his intelligence is very low grade, just like that of an animal. An animal suffers, but it has no sense. If an animal is brought to a slaughterhouse and sees that the animal before him is being slaughtered, he will stand there and contentedly eat the grass. This is animal life. He does not know that next time it will be his turn, and he will be slaughtered. I have seen it. In a Kali temple, I have seen that a goat was standing there, ready to be sacrificed, and another goat was very happily eating the grass. Well, similarly, Maharaj Yudhishthira was asked by Yamaraj, what is the most wonderful thing in this world? Can you explain? So Maharaj Yudhishthira answered, yes, the most wonderful thing is that at every moment, one can see that his friends, his fathers, and his relatives have died. But he is thinking, I shall live forever. He never thinks that he will die, just as an animal never thinks that at the next moment he may be slaughtered. He is satisfied with the grass, that's all. He is satisfied with the sense gratification. He doesn't know that it is also going to die, that he is also going to die. My father has died. My mother has died. He has died. She has died. So I will also have to die. Then what is after death? I do not know. This is the problem. People do not take this problem very seriously, but the Bhagavad Gita indicates that this is real education. Real education is to inquire why. Although we do not want to die, death comes. That is real inquiry. We do not want to become old men. Why does old age come upon us? We have many problems, but this is the sum and substance of all of them. In order to solve this problem, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu prescribes chanting of Hare Krishna. As soon as our heart is cleansed by chanting this Hare Krishna mantra, the blazing fire of our problematic material existence is extinguished. How is it extinguished? When we cleanse our heart, we will realize that we do not belong to this material world. Because people are identifying with this material world, they are thinking, I am an Indian, I'm an Englishman, I'm this, I'm that. But if one chants the Hare Krishna mantra, he will realize that he is not this material body. I do not belong to this material body or this material world. I'm a spirit soul, part and parcel of the Supreme. I'm eternally related with him, and I have nothing to do with the material world. This is called liberation, knowledge. If I don't have anything to do with this material world, then I am liberated. And that knowledge is called Brahmabhuta. Brahmabhuta prasanatman ashochati nakangshati samasarveshu bhuteshu. A person with this realization has no duty to perform, because we are now identifying our existence with this material world. We have so many duties. Srimad Bhagavatam says that as long as there is no self-realization, we have so many duties and debts. We are indebted to the demigods. The demigods are not merely fictitious, they are real. There are demigods controlling the sun, the moon, and the air, just as there are directors of government departments. So, for the heating department, there is the sun god. For the air department, there is Vayu. And similarly, there are other departmental demigods. In the Vedas, they are described as controlling deities, so we cannot neglect them. Also, there are great sages and philosophers who have given us knowledge, and we are indebted to them. So as soon as we take birth, we are indebted to so many living entities, but it is impossible to liquidate all these debts. Therefore, the Vedic literature recommends that one take shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna. And Krishna says, if one takes shelter of me, then he doesn't have to take shelter of anyone else. Therefore, those who are Krishna conscious devotees have taken shelter of Krishna, and the beginning is hearing and chanting. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu. So our fervent, humble request to everyone is to please accept this chanting. This movement of Krishna consciousness was introduced by Lord Chaitanya 500 years ago in Bengal, and now all over India, and especially in Bengal, there are millions of followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Now this movement is starting in the Western countries, so just be very serious in understanding it. We do not criticize any other religion. Don't take it in that way. We have no business criticizing any other process of religion. Krishna consciousness is giving people the most sublime religion. Love of God. That's all. We are teaching to love God. Everyone is already loving God, but that love is misplaced. We love this boy or this girl or this country or that society or even the cats and dogs, but we are not satisfied. So we must place our love in God. If one places one's love in God, he will be happy. Don't think that this Krishna consciousness movement is a new type of religion. Where is the religion which does not recognize God? One may call God Allah or Krishna or something else, but where is that religion which does not recognize God? We are teaching that one should simply try to love God. We are attracted by so many things, but if our love is reposed in God, then we will be happy. We don't have to learn to love anything else. Everything else is automatically included. Just try to love God. Don't try to love just trees or plants or insects. This will never satisfy. Learn to love God. That is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. That is our mission. Hare Krishna. What? So we can pause there. All right, guys. I feel inspired. That was awesome. Any thoughts? Okay. I liked Well, there's a lot of points I liked, but Srila Prabhupada was describing this. We come to the point of, here it is, 4:30:20. Yeah, when we take to this chanting, and gradually our hearts are cleansed, and he was discussing the blazing fire of material existence, that chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, it cleanses the heart of our material existence. It puts out blazing fire. Cheto darpana marjanam bhavamaha davagni nirvapanam. The blazing forest fire of material existence, nirvapanam, it's extinguishing it. It's stopping that fire by chanting. And when this happens, then we stop identifying ourselves with all the different shapes and forms and names of this world, which are completely superfluous to us. And we experience actually who or what we are. And, or yeah, basically that stage is called the Brahmabhuta stage, Brahmabhuta Prasanatmana Shochadina Kankshati. That on the stage of Brahmabhuta, one is basically they're situated in eternity. They're experiencing the eternal nature of the soul, and they're always happy, always joyful. So this is the pleasure that one's actually looking for, is to have the proper identification. We try in this world to identify with so many things, so many people, so many places, communities, whatever it may be, but we're just trying to find our most accurate identification where we feel most comfortable. But the fact is that doesn't take place externally. That only takes place in our relationship with Krishna. And, yeah, when we come to this liberated platform, we can look at that verse too. This is a different verse than what I was quoting, but this is similar context. Always engaged in the activities of devotional service, devotees feel ever increasingly fresh and new in all their activities. The all-knower, the supersoul within the heart of the devotee, makes everything increasingly fresh. This is known as the Brahman position by the advocates of the absolute truth. In such a liberated stage, Brahmabhuta, one is never bewildered, nor does one lament or become unnecessarily jubilant. This is due to the Brahmabhuta situation. Has anybody experienced in their devotional practice a taste of this freshness that comes from devotional service?
Yes.
I need details, Prabhu. You can't just say yes.
Uh, well, I sometimes I don't say much because it's my service includes taking care of Tulsi, and there is a moment where there is a profound connection between me and those little branches that hold all those leaves. And in the beginning, I was trying to understand what it was, and now I'm like embracing it as a sign of love from Tulsi and Krishna, and it's quite intoxicating, to be quite honest. It's a I think it's an organic high.
Wow.
um,
Oh.
Besides, Tulsi and the manjaris have a specific scent that is truly intoxicating, and but that is the connection, and every time it happens after a few hours working with Tulsi, it's not frightening, but it is like, okay, wow, this is really the love of God is there, and the work to get close to Krishna is kind of minimal, but it's helpful.
Yeah, I mean it's actually a very exalted service to take care of Tulsi Maharani. She is an eternal, she's an eternal associate of Krishna in Goloka Vrindavan. And she's only come to this world. She only came to this world simply to serve Krishna. And to associate with her, I mean, you're associating with an eternal resident of Vrindavan. This is a very exalted platform, and therefore you can get some special taste from Tulsi Maharani. She can reveal insights into devotional service because she is, better than I. She's Bhakti Devi. So, I mean, who gives bhakti but Bhakti Devi? And if we want bhakti, then associating with her, and you're right next to the, powerhouse. Insane.
So there is that, and then again, association with the devotees, Sankirtan, and hearing. This morning, I think again, Maharaj was stressing the association with the devotees, and it was a beautiful class, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, so simple steps. And on the nonsense side, I'm always fascinated by Prabhupada referring to rascals. So
yeah. He's not saying, Prabhupada always says, I'm not saying, Krishna is saying, because Krishna calls them mudhas.
Right.
And he says, I'm not saying, Krishna is saying.
And I try not to be captured by the material stuff, but I always crack up when I hear the rascals. So today I came up with a punk rock band named, the Toxic Rascals. Just anyway, that's it.
Hare Krishna.
That is my crazy side that comes up. But every time I hear the rascals, I remember Prabhupada and probably how cool he was, and super duper elected to be what he was doing and giving us. And so anyway, I'm digressing into the material stuff.
I want to hear from Jax. Jax, how does devotional service stay fresh for you? Or have you had experiences where even the same things you may do regularly become more ecstatic when you engage in?
Personally, distributing like prasad is actually very, like, I don't know, there's something about it because you have to become like very selfless, and like you have to let everyone eat before you. So it's like it puts you in the mood of selfless service.
Yeah, it really humbles you. Especially, I don't know how you do it, but sometimes when you distribute prasadam, you could distribute to everyone before you take your plate. And that really puts you in a surrendered state, because it's like, make sure everybody gets what they want. And then if Krishna leaves something for me, okay. But
Yeah, I feel like that's the only way you should do it.
Some people eat honor prasadam before they serve prasadam.
Oh.
Anyway, whatever it takes to be able to do the service, that's the most important thing for us. But, well, yeah, that's nice. Prasadam distribution is really special. It's one of the 6 loving exchanges, which helps to deepen our loving relations with devotees, and also deepen our devotional practice. We can feel satisfied by giving just as much as if we were eating for ourselves. We can feel just as satisfied by giving to others. Okay, I'm going through the line. What's Adam got? Adam, in devotional
Hello.
service, what has inspired you or made you? What's brought you a sensation of freshness from devotional service?
I feel like one of my favorite places to visit is the farm, and I noticed that during kirtan over there, it's it's a nice vibe in the temple, but the closeness of everyone, like the proximity, I really feel like there's something that's really rewarding, more so like with kirtan, more so in that space than anywhere else. And then I'm trying to think the other one. I remember I used to come and volunteer in the kitchen during the Sunday feast, and before my schedule got really crazy. But I remember how much fun that was having like the other like the Matajis teach me how to prepare food, and then seeing how many people and serving as many people as I did, it was a really, really nice experience. I really felt like when I enjoyed my plate, like at the end, it was always, I don't know, because I felt like, I was eating and I was gonna get full, but I felt like I was full in a more appreciative way because I was helping so many people, like so many other people get fed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Thanks.
also recognize the same quality at the farm, the kirtans. And I think because it's a little more of a grassroots atmosphere. The temple it can be a little bit like opulent and
Mm-hmm.
you don't know people. It doesn't. It's harder to the mold takes a little more strength to break. It takes a bigger kirtan, and everybody getting involved to really get past that sense. And of course, being here
Right.
7 years and going to the temple and doing kirtans, like it's easier for me to get past in that kind of crowd because it's a
Mm-hmm.
different thing for me. But yeah, I recognize that atmosphere. It's gonna take a little more to get that same feeling.
Yeah. Well, they're not it's not, so it's just a different kind of experience, you know what I mean? Like I feel like at the farm, it's like the community is like really nice, and then at the temple, like the praise to the deities is like really, like, because I feel like I'm part of the community that Krishna is a part of and in the hearts, but at the temple it's like I really understand that it's pointed towards him.
Yeah, that's where it's coming from. Everything's coming
Yeah.
from. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Ike? I know I don't know actually, I'm not sure how much like services you've been engaging, but from reading or if you've applied any of the chanting or anything, what your experience has been like or what you've come to recognize or appreciate.
Well, the times that I have chanted, there's been times where I got into a deep trance,
Mm.
and yeah, that felt very nice, very blissful.
Yeah, the chanting, uh, I've heard from many people, persons of different backgrounds, and even different, even devotees who have come from different backgrounds too. Those who have engaged in different types of meditation, the chanting has a quality. It really helps one. It very quickly can take one to a, and a quality of absorption that it may take longer in other formats or other ways for them, or in some of them, and to a level that they haven't experienced from other forms of meditation. And yeah, I myself, I never did a lot of different types of meditation, but chanting it sure does it for me. So, well, I'm
Yeah,
great.
because,
Hmm?
like chanting is like a car blocking the driveway, blocking other cars from coming in. So it's like your mind is focused and pointed at that, so other thoughts aren't coming in. And so yeah, you can enter that trance state. And
Yeah, it's very naturally controls the mind. Well, thank you all for sharing a little bit and squeeze it out of everybody.
Prabhu, can I say something to Ike?
Yeah, what do you got?
Ike, if you would like to join the morning chanting, Bhakta Lance and Mother Sudevi organize this early 6 o'clock chanting for 20 minutes, and it's via Zoom, and we all get the chance to chant few rounds, and it's really, it makes the day go and flow in a very auspicious way. So if you are interested, uh, talk to Bhakta Lance. He can add you to the WhatsApp
oh,
group. And
yeah, I'm in the group.
okay.
Honest, that's something I'm still working on because the times I do wake up at 5 or 6,
Right.
I stay up a little bit at the table, then I go back to bed. But that's something I'm still working on. But I'm
Okay,
aware of it.
cool.
But thank you so much for that suggestion.
All right. Okay, man.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Well, thank you all for tuning in to the Transcendental Readings. And we'll head over. I'm going to go to the temple, and tomorrow, please come out for the farm program, 3 to 5:30. with His Holiness Swayam Bhagavan Keshava Maharaj will be speaking. Should be a nice time. So,
Thank you.
Krishna. Hare Krishna. Okay.